Hello friends, welcome back to another video of Automation Testing Insider. So this is the fourth part of API testing series, and today we are going to talk about Postman tool. So let's have a look at the agenda for today. So we are going to talk about Postman introduction, and we'll see some of the features about Postman tool. And I'll show you how we can download, install and set up Postman tool. Later on, we'll talk about different sections inside Postman tool. So tool walkthrough. And at last, I'll show you how we can send sample HTTP request and how we are getting the response. We have different HTTP methods using which we can send different requests, different HTTP requests, get, post, put and delete. So I'll show you a couple of them today to see how it works. So these are the things which we are going to discuss today. So let's get it started. So what is Postman tool? So Postman is an API tool that allows us to test and manage APIs as a tester point of view. So we can use this tool to test and manage our APIs. So you might ask question like we are getting the APIs in the form of URL, URI or endpoint. So why can't we directly test on browser? But we cannot test all the APIs on browser because so many parameters we have to define for different APIs. So that's the reason we use this tool to manage our APIs and test those APIs using this particular tool, Postman tool, by sending the request and getting the response back. We have to validate so many things when we test the APIs. And as a developer point of view, we can create the APIs and we can create the documentation, API documentation as well. Another point is Postman provides an UI that allows us to send HTTP request. So this is the basic feature which we can do using Postman. We can send multiple different HTTP requests to APIs, view the response and test the APIs functionality. Use collections. So this is an important feature of Postman tool. So what is collection basically? So let's say this is collection A, and we can say collection is a combination of different HTTP requests. So inside this collection, we can create multiple HTTP requests, like let's say get, post, put, delete. So these are the different requests we can create inside a collection, and also we can create the folders as well. So Postman allows user to build collections for their API calls. Every set can create multiple requests and subfolders. It will help to organize the test suites. So we can create the test suites as well using this collection. Later on, we can run that collection as a whole for the multiple requests. So in simple terms, collection is the combination of different HTTP requests. A test development to test checkpoints, verification of successful HTTP response status shall be added to every API call. So whenever we send the request to the server, when we get the response, we'll get the response in the form of HTTP status codes. So we can verify, we can validate our response, what kind of response we are getting, and we can create different checkpoints as well. What are the checkpoints? Nothing but the validation. So we can perform different validations on our APIs by creating different checkpoints. So we can create the checkpoints using JavaScript, like whether we are getting 200 message or not. 200 is nothing but the OK, whether we are getting 4 not 4, like that. So we can create our test cases using those checkpoints using JavaScript, which we are going to discuss in coming videos. So let's have a look at the next point. Automation testing. So test can be performed in several repetitions or iterations by using the collection runner. So this is what I was talking about. So we can create multiple requests inside a collection, and we can run this collection as a whole. We have runner option here. So using that we can run the all the requests inside a collection at once, or Newman. So there is another option, Newman. So this is a separate tool which we have to install and configure inside a Postman. So using Newman, we can run our collection in command prompt, which saves time for repeated test for automation testing, right? That is nothing but the repetitive test. We can use this collection runner and we can do some sort of automation testing. Collaboration. You can import or export collections and environments to enhance the sharing of files. You may also use direct connection to share the collections. So we can do collaboration using this tool as well. We can share our APIs, our files, and documentation to other team members as well. So these are the different features about Postman tool. Now we'll talk about what are the different apps are available. What are the different ways we can download and install Postman? How we get the Postman in different ways. So native app. So we have a native app for different platforms like Windows, Mac OS, Linux, different operating system. And another way is web version. So there are two ways. Basically, we can set up Postman. One is using exe file, or you can say native app for different platforms, different operating system. Another one is web version on any browser, on Chrome browser, right? And another one is it was available earlier as a Chrome extension that is already deprecated. So this option is not available. So there are two ways. One is through native app, and second one is through web version. So we'll go through the tool once I install it. Once I download, install and set up, I'll show you workspace, how we can create the workspace, how we can create the collection, and how we can send the HTTP request. So these are the different features, different what you can say, things which we can perform on workspace, collection, and HTTP request. And I'll show you sample request like get request and post request. So let's have a look. How to download Postman, you need to come to Google and simply type in here Postman download, press enter. So you'll get the first option here, www.postman.com. so this official website of Postman. So right click and open the link in new tab. So this option, download Postman, get started for free, download option is there. So when you open in new tab, so here you will get an option to download for Windows. Download the app to get started with Postman API platform. And we have a couple of other options as well. Download for Mac platform or Linux operating system. So we have options here for other platforms, and we have an option here, Postman on the web. So you can try the web version from here as well. So let me first click on this one, Windows 64-bit. So we'll start using this one. So initially we'll start using the Windows app, and later on we'll try the web version as well. But let me show you by clicking on this one, right click and open in new tab. So for the first time user, you need to create the account here, or you can simply sign up using Google account as well. So let's wait. Once it is downloaded, then we'll start. So it is downloaded. So this is an exe file. It is downloaded. Now it is 160 MB exe file. So double click on this one to install. Now installing Postman. Now this is how it looks, Postman tool. And if you come to desktop, you'll see shortcut has been created over here, Postman. Come back to the tool. Now here we have different options like home, workspace, explore, and a sign in option. From here we have to sign in. And these are the different options like collections, APIs, environment, mock servers, monitor, history. So all these options we are going to explore one by one later on in coming sessions as well. And we can create directory collection from here. But before that, we have to start with workspace so that we can save everything, like whatever request, whatever collections are there inside that workspace. The same way like we used to do for other editors as well. So what I'll do, I'll create the workspace first of all. First of all, we need to sign in, and then we'll create the workspace. So we can, when we click on sign in, it will take us to the web version. Okay, from website we have to sign in. So from here, I have already created the account, guys. So simply I'll put my user ID and password. Click on sign in. and again it will take us to, it will ask open Postman, that app. So we'll click on this open Postman. It will take us to this Windows app. Now this is how it looks, the Postman tool, and here we have the user from which we have logged in, hverma22, and here we have some different options like settings, sign out, and this is the upgraded version. We can get it from here, and left side we have to when we click on this home, so this is the home page only, and from here workspaces are there. So first of all we have to create the workspace, so click on this create workspace. So I'll give some meaningful name like Postman. Postman tutorial, and I'll let me just select this visibility for personal for now, and click on create workspace. So workspace has been created, and we can rename the workspace as well by selecting like one, press enter. So now you can see here Postman 1 is created. Inside this workspace we can create the collections from here, create collection. There are different options. We have an option from here as well, from top 3 lines are there. So from there we can have this file option, and from when we click on this new, so we have different options from here as well. HTTP request, we can create HTTP request, collections, environment, API documentation, and all those things. So we'll explore everything going forward, but for now what I'm going to do is, and we can create the collection from here as well. There are 2-3 options from which you can create the collection. From here, file, and then new, and you can select the collection here, or we have plus option here, create new collection, or we can directly click on this button, create collection. So there are several options are there, or we can use a particular template as well. We'll talk about this template later on. What I'll do, simply I'll click on this one, and another thing is this is the workspace, and you can delete this workspace as well. You can rename and you can delete from here, workspace settings, delete workspace, click on delete, and you have to put the name and click on this delete option. So this is how you can delete the workspace as well. So let me come back to this workspace, and what I'll do, I'll create new collection over here. So simply click on this plus icon, so new collection has been created. Similar way, like workspace, we can rename the collection as well. So I'll put like sample collection, press enter. So this is how you can rename the collection as well. Again, you can like rename, we already renamed it, so we can delete the collection as well from here, delete option. So this an option to delete this collection. Now what I'll do, I'll create some requests inside this sample collection. So collection is nothing but the collection of different combination of different requests, HTTP request, which we have discussed earlier. Now here we have an option called add a request, and add a request, HTTP request, and we can request from here as well. From new option we can create the HTTP request as well. But let me try with this one, add a request, click on add request. Now here you can see this is new request, and again we can rename the request as well. So I'll put like get request, and press enter. So here you'll see get request. You can delete the request as well, get request. Now here we have an option for enter URL or paste text over here. Now coming to this PPT, here we have couple of options here for get request and post request. I'll provide all these APIs as well, and going forward we'll explore more APIs as well. I'll provide all the links. So for now let me just use this API, this get request API. So come back to this one. When I put this URL here, okay, so what you'll see here, these are the different requests or verbs we used to say, and here we have different HTTP methods like get, post, put, patch, delete. These are the common ones which we are using. Now I'm using right now get, so here I put the URL, and you'll see automatically it takes the params. So query param. So in this URL, you will see this query parameter is there. So this is nothing but the protocol or scheme which we have already discussed in the last video, and this is the domain requires.in and domain or host, and from here we have path, right? API / API and users / API users, and then page is equal to 1. Here we have query parameter or params. That means we are searching on the server, like page is equal to 1. We are going to find out the particular resource, right, on page number 1. So this is our URL, and when we have this query parameter, so here you can see query params. So, or what are the things are there for query parameters? It will all be displayed over here, like page is equal to 1, and the description is nothing, so value is 1, and key is, this is in key value pair, right? Page is equal to 1. So you can see here authorization. Right now we are not providing any authorization, so it is blank. Headers, there are some default headers are there, like hidden headers are there. Header is nothing but whatever metadata is there, like additional information when we provide with any request. So that is nothing but the headers. Body is something where we provide in case of post, put or delete, or post or put, when we send some information to the server. In some cases for GET request also we provide the body as well, but mostly for put or post, when we create the new record or when we update the new record, when we update the existing record, we'll provide the put in the body. We have pre-request script and we have test option. So from here we can code snippet is already there, so from here we can select and we can create our test that we are going to discuss in coming videos, and settings is also there. So now what I'll do, I'll simply click on send. This is the GET request. Click on send. It will send the request to the server and we'll get the response. So we are getting the response like this. So this is the body. So this is nothing but the response body. Here we are getting all the results on page number 1 on the server, right? And here you can see 200 OK. So this is the message HTTP status code which we are getting, right? 200 OK. 200 is for OK. And these are the validations which we used to do as part of API testing. So we used to verify what is the status code, and then this is the how much time it takes, like response time, and here we have the response size, and we can save this example as well, this response as well. And you can see in this response we have this body. This is the response payload, and here we have cookies. If it returns any cookies when we browse anything on the internet, so it creates the simple what you can say temporary internet files when we browse something on google.com or any other website. So whenever it creates the cookies, so it will be coming over here, but in this case there are no cookies. Headers, these are the headers for this request, and test result. When we create the test, when we create some test, then it will come over here like fail, pass and everything, which we are going to discuss like when we create some test cases. For now we are simply just sending a request which is GET request, and we can save this GET request as well from this option, save request. So let me just click on this save. So now it is saved over here in this, inside this sample collection. Now there is another request, another GET request. So let me use this one as well. So I'll create another request, another GET request. So what I'll do, we have an option from here, add request. Click on add request. Another request you can see or coming over here. So I'll give GET name like GET request 1. So the first one is GET request, second one is GET request 1. Now I'll put the URL over here. So it will take all the employees from the server. For if you talk about this particular API, now here you can see there is no query parameter over here, so that's why this key value and everything is blank. Authorization is not there. Headers are there, some default headers, hidden headers, and body is nothing. So let me just simply click on this send. Now you can see all the employees data over here, like strategy, success, data. This is the in JSON format we are getting. ID, employee name, employee salary, and all these things are displayed over here. So this is the second request. Now let me try the post request. So what do you mean by post request, which we have discussed in the last video? When we create the records on the server, when we create some resources on the server, when we create the new request, when we create the new record on the server, that is nothing but the post request. So to create the new record, we have to send the data as well, like payload request, right? So let me show you. So simply I'll create a new request here, add request. I'll put the URL here, and I have to select the method as post. Right now it is not coming here because we have not saved it yet, right? So that's why it is coming like get only, but here we have selected post. Later on we'll save it. And params we don't need, body we want, right? So what is the body? So this is the name and job for corresponding user we are going to create. So what option we have to select here? So raw option, and put it over here. This is not coming in correct format, so it's because of when we do copy paste. And we have to select the JSON format here. Now it is coming key value pair perfectly. Now what I'll do, simply I'll click on send. So when we select this raw option, so here we can select whatever format we want to send as per the API documentation, as defined in the API documentation. So in this case it is JSON format, so I'll select JSON and simply click on send. Now you can see the body response. In the response body, this user has been created. test-postman, leader, job title is leader, ID is 176 and created at this time. And here you can see 200 created, and then we have response time, response size, and we can save this response as well. Now what I'll do, I'll save this request as well, this post request. So simply click on save. Now here you can see post is coming, right? Post new request. So let me just give meaningful name, post request, enter. Now here you can see get request 1 and post request. So these are the 3 requests we have seen today. So this is all for today, guys. So this is how we used to use Postman tool. Let me know if you have any other questions in the comment box of this video. Please like, share, and subscribe this channel if you are new, and also press the bell icon to get the notification for upcoming interesting